A Chinese company, seemingly out of nowhere, just dropped a bombshell. DeepSeek, a China-based AI lab, has just released their V3 model, and it's so impressive that even Sam Altman appears deeply concerned. Could this mark the end of US dominance in AI? Let's break down the hype, because this changes everything. First, let's get one thing straight. The AI world is no stranger to hype. Every week, there's a new revolutionary model claiming to reshape the future. We've all heard it before. So when I say DeepSeek V3 is different, I know I need to back it up. I mean, we're living in a time where the pace of AI development is absolutely insane. Just a few years ago, we were blown away by AI that could write a decent poem or beat a human at Go. Now, we're talking about models that can code, create art, and even reason at a level that starts to feel a little, uncanny. And the rate of progress in just the last year alone is, well, mind-boggling, almost doubling. But here's the thing. With all that progress comes a whole lot of noise. It's hard to separate the real breakthroughs from the marketing fluff. And let's be real, a lot of companies are more interested in generating hype than delivering substance. I mean, they'll throw around terms like state-of-the-art and groundbreaking without any real evidence to back it up. So, when a new model like DeepSeek V3 comes along, it's natural to be, skeptical. We've been burned before, haven't we? But I'm telling you, this time it's different. This time, the hype might actually be justified. And the reason why, has less to do with DeepSeek itself and more to do with who's behind it and what they're doing. All right, let's get into the juicy stuff, the benchmarks. You see, these are basically the standardized tests that AI models take to prove their capabilities. And when it comes to DeepSeek V3, the results are, well, they're kind of insane. This chart shows how good DeepSeek V3 is at finding specific information in a huge amount of text. You see, it can look through 128,000 tokens of information and still find what it's looking for, no problem. This is, well, super important because it means this AI can handle really complex tasks and still be accurate. Now, let's see how it stacks up against the competition. This chart here compares DeepSeek V3 to some of the biggest names in the game: GPT-4o, Gemini 1.5 Pro, Claude 3.5 Sonnet, the usual suspects. The vertical axis is the performance, and the horizontal axis is the cost for inputting 1 million tokens. I mean, the blue area up top is the performance/price ratio optimum range. DeepSeek V3 is way up there in the top left, way past the optimum range. So that means it's not just performing well, it's blowing the competition out of the water, and is cheaper to use than all of the other models. And it's not just one benchmark. I mean, DeepSeek V3 is consistently outperforming, or at the very least matching, these industry giants across a whole range of tasks. We're talking about coding, reasoning, math, and safety. It's excelling in areas where even the most advanced models struggle. It's scoring higher than some of the most powerful AIs on the market, and just under GPT-4o, which, is pretty much the top dog right now. What's even more impressive is how cost-effective it is. Training this AI costs just $5.5 million a fraction, compared to the hundreds of millions or even billions that other companies are spending. It's crazy efficient. They were able to train this thing in under 2 months, and it was done with just over 2,800 chips from NVIDIA. That may sound like a lot, but compared to the tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of chips that these other companies are using, it's nothing. This efficiency also helps explain, why it's so cheap to use DeepSeek V3. And if that wasn't enough, this last chart shows that DeepSeek V3 is ranked really high in terms of quality, even beating out some of the latest models from Google and Anthropic. I mean, it's right up there with GPT-4 and is way better than Meta's Llama models. The fact that it's open source and still competing at this level is, a huge deal. One of the most important things I want to highlight is that this model isn't just powerful, it's open source. That means the code, the data, the whole package is freely available for anyone to use, modify, and build upon. This is a massive departure from the way things have been going in the AI world. I mean, the big players, like OpenAI and Google, they keep their models locked down tighter than Fort Knox. They treat their AI like some kind of top-secret weapon, only accessible through paid APIs and, shrouded in secrecy. But DeepSeek, they're just giving it away for free. Think about that for a second. I mean, a model that's arguably as good as, or maybe even better than, some of the most advanced AI in the world, and it's completely open source. This is like Ferrari giving away their engine designs to, well, anyone who wants them. It just doesn't happen. Now, let's talk about money, because in the AI race, cost is a huge factor. Training these massive models is ridiculously expensive. Recently, OpenAI announced their O3 model, which is undoubtedly the most powerful and capable model we've ever seen. But here's the catch: it costs between $1,000 and $3,000 per request. That's insane. The point I want to make is simple. No matter how good your AI model is, if it's not cost-effective, it's practically useless for most of us. Now let's talk about V3 pricing. DeepSeek's V3 costs significantly less than other models. Input processing is priced at just 27 cents per million tokens, and output generation is $1.10 per million tokens. That's simply astonishing. You're getting performance comparable to Claude Sonnet at only 10% of the cost. Now that's what I call intelligent affordability. The big tech companies are pouring money into building these gigantic data centers filled with, thousands upon thousands of specialized chips just to train their AI models. It's an arms race, and the price of admission is sky high. But DeepSeek V3, they're playing a different game. Remember when I said it cost them just $5.5 million to train? That's like pocket change compared to what the other guys are spending. They're achieving comparable, and in some cases superior performance at a fraction of the cost. How are they doing it? Well, that's where things get really interesting. It seems like they've cracked the code on efficiency. They've figured out how to optimize the training process, how to squeeze every last drop of performance out of their hardware. And, things are getting serious when even Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, starts paying attention. He recently tweeted, "It is relatively easy to copy something that you know works. It is extremely hard to do something new, risky, and difficult when you don't know if it will work. Individual researchers rightly get a lot of glory for that when they do it. It's the coolest thing in the world." Basically, Altman's saying, copying something is a piece of cake. The real challenge is doing something nobody's ever done before. He's giving props to the people who make that happen. While he doesn't name names, it's pretty clear this is a direct jab at DeepSeek. I personally think his statement reeks of double standards. So Sam's talking about how it's way harder to do something totally new than to just copy what's already out there, right? And that's true in AI just like anywhere else. We talked about that attention is all you need paper. It laid the groundwork for a lot of these big language models. But here's the thing. It would be super hypocritical for someone to take that paper, build an AI company around it, and then go around saying, "Oh, it's so wrong when people just copy other people's work." That's like stealing someone's recipe, changing one ingredient, and then acting like you invented cooking. Alright, so let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture here. DeepSeek V3 isn't just about one company or one model. It's a symbol of something much greater: China's rapid rise in the field of artificial intelligence. For years, the US has been the undisputed leader in AI. Silicon Valley was, like, the epicenter of innovation, attracting the best and brightest minds from around the globe. But the tide is turning. China is catching up, and, well, they're catching up fast. They're investing heavily in AI research, they're building their own supercomputers, and they're fostering a culture of innovation that's starting to rival, and in some areas, surpass what we're seeing in the West. And here's the thing that really sets China apart: their approach to open source. While American companies are hoarding their AI secrets, Chinese companies are increasingly embracing open source as a strategy for growth. They see it as a way to accelerate innovation, to build a global community of developers, and to democratize access to this powerful technology. It's a fundamentally different philosophy, and, well, it's starting to pay off. Now, the US government, in an attempt to maintain its technological edge, has imposed strict sanctions on the export of advanced chips to China. The idea is to slow down China's AI progress by limiting their access to the hardware they need to train these powerful models. But here's the problem. These sanctions might be backfiring. Instead of crippling China's AI ambitions, they're actually fueling them. You see, they're forcing Chinese companies to become more self-reliant, to develop their own domestic chip industry, and to find innovative ways to achieve high performance with less powerful hardware. It's like trying to stop a river by building a dam. You might slow down for a while, but, eventually, the water will find a way through. And when it does, it'll be even stronger than before. And that's, well, exactly what is happening. They're developing their own chips now. They are catching up at a crazy pace. So let's play out a scenario. A thought experiment, if you will. What happens if China actually wins the race to artificial general intelligence, or AGI? I mean, what if they're the first to develop an AI that's as smart as, or even smarter than, a human being? It's a scary thought, isn't it? The implications are, like, enormous. We're talking about a potential shift in the global balance of power, a fundamental change in the way our world works. No, I'm not saying this is going to happen tomorrow. A GI is still a long way off, maybe decades away, by most estimates. But the possibility is there. And it's a possibility we need to, start taking seriously. Because if China does achieve AGI first, they'll have a massive advantage. They'll be able to use this technology to advance their economy, their military, their entire society in ways we can only, begin to imagine. So what's the solution? How do we navigate this new reality? Well, I believe the answer lies in openness and collaboration. Instead of trying to build walls and restrict access to technology, we need to be fostering a global ecosystem of AI development. I mean, we need to be sharing knowledge, collaborating on research, and working together to ensure that this powerful technology is used for the benefit of all humanity. We can't afford to let fear and mistrust dictate our actions. We need to embrace the open source spirit, to break down the barriers between nations, and to build a future where AI is a force for good, not, a weapon of division. The AI race is heating up, and DeepSeek v3 is just the latest sign that things are changing fast. China's rise in the field of AI is undeniable, and their embrace of open source is, well, a game changer. The US chip sanctions might be having unintended consequences, and the possibility of China winning the AGI race is a real one. But the future is not predetermined. I mean, it's up to us to shape it. We have a choice to make. We can either cling to the old ways of secrecy and competition, or we can embrace a new era of openness and collaboration. The path we choose will determine not only the future of AI, but the future of humanity itself. So what do you think? Is DeepSeek v3 a sign of things to come? Is China poised to take the lead in the AI race? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of technology. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and, well, stay awesome.